All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to an exciting episode. We are doing something great tonight. We're covering season two of The Mandalorian. Come on, it's got Bo-Katan, Boba Fett is back, Grogu's better than ever. I'm just like so just just pumped
I
for
don't.
you to see the first half of season one. The only problem is I noticed your background is not set up for Mandalorian, which is weird.
Mm, yeah, I don't have that on tonight's schedule.
Oh, well, what do you have on tonight's schedule? Because what else would it? Well, I don't know what else it would be.
Hmm.
Oh, you said something a while ago about wanting to do Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I did mention that,
Oh,
but
I like Planet of the Apes. I like Caesar, getting into some Caesar stuff, seeing what he's doing, how he cures Alzheimer's and gets smart, and then how they eventually take over the Statue of Liberty.
I I think I got some bad news for you.
Yeah, as long as it's not anything Tom Cruise, I'll
Hmm.
be totally fine.
Well,
There's not
your
like a new
mission,
There's not like a new Mission Impossible movie coming out next summer or something.
in fact, there is.
Oh, well, that's great.
And if
Let's.
your and your mission,
Oh
if you
no.
choose to accept it, is to watch every single one.
All right, so tonight we're covering the 1996 first Mission Impossible movie starring Tom Cruise. I'm not like a huge Tom Cruise fan, but there's been movies that I really enjoy that he is in. I just I always feel like all of his movies, he's always the one that saves the day, which he's the star of the movie, so that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Let's run down some good Tom Cruise movies real quick. You've got
Let's have the non-Tom Cruise
hmm,
fan tell us all of the great Tom Cruise movies.
let's see. You got what's the
Yeah.
one
Oh yeah, there's that
Tomorrow
one.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yep.
That is
That
that's a
is a
great
great
Tom
movie.
Cruise movie.
Yep.
You got
Yeah.
Tropic Thunder. That's another great Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No, and honestly, the first few Mission Impossible movies I do really enjoy. I think I've seen up to four, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. The one that always stands out in my brain is two,
Okay.
with the bike chase and the
The
knife dagger to
motorcycles.
the eye and the masks and the voice thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm afraid your friend Dr. Dimitri was actually my friend Dr. Dimitri. Yeah, so that's the one that stands out to me for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I have not seen any of the new stuff. I'm
Yeah.
offended that it took the name of one of my favorite franchises, but that's fine. I can let it go. The next one is Mission Impossible 8 New Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Called Skyrim. Mission Impossible 7 Skyrim.
Well, they're not gonna choose Starfield, so
No.
that's a good one. Yeah. So this is funny to me, Will, that this movie was not on your 90s rewind that we did.
Nope. Because it wasn't. It wasn't on our. I never forget about it, so it wasn't on that one.
Mm,
And
mm.
this is definitely in probably my top 15, maybe top 20.
Wow.
But yeah, other ones just beat it out because I like other movies better. So
You're also not taking it to any desert islands, I noticed.
no, that's what I mean. Yeah, yeah,
I think the thing with the Mission Impossible movies is like once you see it once, it has like that like
Hmm.
I don't need to see it again because it has such a good like plot
Yes.
setup device that like you're like, oh wow, and then you're like, I'm good. It's kind of like an M. Night Shyamalan movie. It's like
Yes.
I've seen the Village maybe a couple times, but it's like you see it once and you're like, wow, that's a great concept. I got it. I don't
Right.
need to see it again. It kind of spoils it. Watching it for a second time spoils all of the
Right.
build up.
Right. 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 I
Yeah,
for whatever reason, when I was like not quite a teenager, it was every time I was homesick from school or had school off during the week and like parents weren't really home or I was waiting to get picked up or something. It was three movies I always played. It
Mission
was
Impossible, Die Hard, and
yeah.
uh, Jingle All the Way.
Wow.
Nailed
Wow.
it. Nailed it.
You you did it. You know me. Um
Fan of Sinbad and
Arnold Schwarzenegger
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah.
and Jake Lloyd. Huge Jake
Oh
Lloyd.
wow, that's right. Yeah.
Um
What was the hero's name in that movie? Not Ultraman.
Turbo Man.
Turbo Man. Jeremy.
Joy May.
Yeah, yeah. Jeremy. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, continue.
So it's Back to the Future Part 2,
Obviously.
Liar Liar,
Oh, that's a good one.
and Mission Impossible.
Mm. I'd argue two of those are deserved. Uh,
Yeah. This movie was I've seen it many times.
many, many times.
Many times.
Many, many times. It's a good movie. It's a really good spy thriller. This movie does to me what like so this is like the American version of James Bond,
Yes.
basically.
Yes.
And I think it does it a little better as far as like an actual thriller like spy
Like an actual spy.
movie. Yeah.
Right.
James Bond is
Espionage.
just he's just gonna go in and shoot up stuff and
Right, right.
smooch some pretty girls. But
Yeah.
this is like this dude, Ethan Hunt, he's on his own.
Right.
He's got to
Right.
figure this out,
Oh
It's
yeah.
pretty good. It's kind of like the Bourne stuff a little
It
bit.
is a lot like the Bourne. It's really surprising how little gunfire there is in this movie.
Not much at all.
Almost practically
Not much
none.
at all. And
Right?
the cool thing about it is if you're paying attention,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of pick up what's going on with Ethan,
Yes.
which I think is cool.
Yes. I watched it with Adri because she's a big fan of the franchise,
Oh
and
yeah,
I said to her, I said when she's seen the movie, so we were rewatching it, and I said to her, I said literally take note that not a single scene is wasted.
that's
Every
true.
single scene they show something, it's either setting something up or it's just like revealing something to you.
Yeah.
And even if it seems a little like out of place or a little like why, it's just give it time. It'll show you why. Like they cut to the drunk couple on the street dancing around,
Mm,
and you're like, why are you showing these random
yeah.
people? And then it cuts back to Ethan and Sarah on the wall. And then come to find out they're other IMF agents. It's like
Hmm.
this steady. So every scene is not wasted, which is not true of all movies.
No. No, I would, yeah. No, I would argue that as far as like a movie goes for like storytelling and
Yeah.
accuracy and from start to finish, this is like a perfect movie.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Yeah.
Like this is peak storytelling,
Yes.
like through seeing.
Yes.
There's this scene where he towards the end where you're kind of seeing his brain re-showing the
Oh,
events.
yes. Yes.
And that's kind of for the audience to be like, hey, if you haven't like caught
If
on
you
to
haven't
what's
caught
going
on,
on.
yeah. Yeah.
But even that to me is not like they're hitting you over the head. It's like so many
No.
shows today are like you have to have the main character be like, "Oh, and that's why you did this because the
Right.
money was coming from this. It's
Right.
like, okay, you don't need to explain it to me. I get,
Right. 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 Right.
And this is just like, hey, so check this out. I mean, even to the point where is his name Krieger?
Yeah, the French guy.
Yeah. It's like his knife, the whole thing with his knife is
Yeah.
like a main plot point that like you see in the very beginning of the movie, and
Hmm.
it's like if
Yeah.
you're really not paying attention, you don't pick up on the fact that like he's using it on that like break-in mission. It's
Right.
great.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's cool. It's cool how it starts off as like kind of like the slow build of like, hey, we're just doing this next mission,
Right.
and it just goes like horribly wrong
Right.
from what
Yes.
from what it seems,
Yeah, it really
like,
does.
oh,
Yeah.
this is bad. This is really bad.
Yeah, it's interesting because to me, you look at the 90s and it's like I don't know the actresses, sadly. I
Mm,
don't really know the like Sarah who gets stabbed and Hannah who gets blown up. Like I don't really know them in other stuff.
hmm
I've seen was it
They look
Claire?
they look familiar, but not like anything I could
Right.
pinpoint.
And I think her name is Claire, Jim's wife. I think she's
Hmm
been in a couple other things, but again, probably not a super. These were like not really popular people to my understanding. But then you look at the other two, the other three of them. It's like
hmm
Tom Cruise was big at the time. He wasn't as big as he is now, but he was getting popular.
Yeah.
Emilio Estevez, who plays Jack,
hmm
the guy in the elevator, it's like he was huge
Oh
in the
yeah.
movies. Huge. And John Voight, who plays Jim, was huge too.
hmm
And so was Jean Reno and Ving Rhames later in the movie too. But the thing is, they you have to do this thing where it would be like literally now. Okay, it's another Mission Impossible movie, and it opens, and it's like you're going to introduce, I don't know, just like really two big popular characters alongside the cast, and then immediately kill them off.
Kind of
And
like how the other guys opens with The Rock and
yes, yes,
Samuel L. Jackson jumping off the building and dying immediately.
exactly, exactly, exactly.
That was such a great
You have the right to remain silent. Yeah,
that's a great intro to set up that movie. Like
it is.
that's pretty funny.
But yeah, exactly. Like they're introducing people that the audience in the theater knows these are popular actors. They're in the movies. You don't suspect
Hmm
them to die. You expect Jack and Jim and all these people to carry on through the whole movie. And they're dead within the first like
Yeah.
15, 20 minutes of the movie.
It's one of those things like now in hindsight, it's like, hey, so these are none of the people that I know from Mission Impossible except for, the one guy at the end.
Right, right.
What happened to these people? And then they're like, oh,
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 yeah. So
yeah.
I think they had to throw Amelia Estevez in there so that you didn't suspect John Voight as the
hmm
killer or as the bad guy.
Yeah.
Because I think if you just had everybody die and then you'd be like, that was weird that John Voight was in the movie and then just died,
hmm
you would be like more suspicious. But because Emilio is in it too, you're like, oh, they're just killing. They don't care. They're just killing
Yeah,
everybody else.
right. Now, yeah, obviously, like when he shows back up, it's obviously like,
Yes.
okay, this is not good.
Right. Right.
And
My
that's
favorite
kind of
thing
like, yeah, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that was my favorite thing that happened in the movie like two, three times with Adri. She literally paused the movie and would be like blah 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 blah. She would like ask me questions and like pose things to me, and then I would just be like, press play, and she'd play it, and it would literally like explain, like
hmm
reveal something more, and then she'd be like, oh. And so it was
hmm
cool right when she was like, huh? Or kind of like, why is this happening?
hmm
She was just like 20 seconds ahead of the movie kind of a thing.
That's called good pacing.
Yes. Yep.
But and the thing too is they kind of play with that a little bit too. Like when he first like falls asleep in the safe house in the beginning,
Oh yeah.
and he shows up and he's like, "Why didn't you help me, Ethan?"
Ethan.
And it's like, and that kind of you're like, "Oh, wow, he's seeing him."
Right, right,
And
right,
then later on when he's in the phone booth and he sees him again, you're like, "Oh man, he's seen him again." And he's
right.
like, "No, he's real now."
He's here.
You're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, snap." That's good. That's a good reveal.
Yeah.
My biggest question to you
Yes. Yes, please.
is, I mean, obviously the answer is because there wouldn't be a movie, but if the
Okay.
plan is to get rid of the team, why did they leave Ethan alive? Because they just were hoping that like he would be suspected as the mole and be arrested
Yes.
immediately. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But he should have known, and they're team members. He should know Ethan's not going down without a fight.
Right,
Like
right,
he's going to
right.
be a threat to your plan.
It's one of those things that like there are things that happen in the movie that are just like convenient for convenience sake.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the whole premise is that he knew Ethan well enough that either he would die and oh well, everybody's dead and he, Phelps goes on to get his money and do his stuff.
Hmm.
Everybody's dead. There's no pointing fingers, right? Or it's likely Ethan survives because he knows Ethan and then he pins it all on him.
And he did say at the end that he basically sent his wife in because he knew Ethan would like fall for her.
Yes. Which is why he says, Thou shalt not covet thy wife. And
Yeah.
that is why they set up in the beginning, the very opening, when he's in like the Russian mask
Mm.
and and Jack's on the other side and he's like, Come on, she's been out too long. And then they finally get the answer from the guy. And then
Oh,
he puts the
yeah.
drug inside of her and he's like, Oh, and he's very like, he's a little more, I don't know what the terminology, like the wording would be, but like
Hmm.
basically he's a little more soft with her.
Mm.
And it
That
kind of
is true.
indicates that like he has something for her.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
But he's a good guy. He's not gonna
yeah. Well,
flirt and hit on a guy's wife. So,
Jack's too old for her anyway.
oh, you mean Jim? Jim, yeah.
Jim, yeah. Isn't Jack the guy that
Jackson
died in the
Bailey.
elevator? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a brutal scene.
It's pretty
when he
rough.
when he dies in the elevator. The whole time that scene was happening, I mean, he has to duck behind the elevator at one point too while it goes
Yes.
down. Just like there's nowhere else that you could set up this like hacking ability. Like you have to be on top of the elevator. That's really
Yeah.
stupid. It's a
Yeah.
real bit. And you know what's funny? I was expecting the glasses to come back into play.
Mm.
Um, they do at the end, but he leaves his glasses in the beginning,
Yes.
like on accident.
Yes.
In that computer room
Oh no,
where
no,
they like,
he leaves them there so that they can see
oh, they record. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
that he leaves them there purposely so that the guy's name I can't think it was like it's like Grishna,
Yeah,
whatever his name
yeah.
was. Um, so they can see that he actually downloads the knock list
Okay,
to a
okay.
disk.
Right, right, right.
'Cause otherwise, if he doesn't actually have it, then
What's
why,
the point? Yeah.
right? Like why track him down?
Okay. Yeah, that's true. That is what happened.
Which is why
I
he's like he does like this, and then he's like, and he puts the books. He's trying to
ah,
get like a good angle for the guy to see,
maybe
so
I
he can
didn't.
see the
Maybe
computer screen.
I might have not seen that exact scene where he like puts them there specifically.
Gotcha. When
I
he
just
first
remember him
comes into
taking
the
them
room,
off, and then when they leave, they have to jump through and hide through the elevator before the guy comes down. They kind of pan over and show his glasses.
yes.
And I was
When
like,
he
oh,
first
he's
comes
gonna
in,
notice those.
when Ethan and Sarah first come in, Ethan immediately sticks his head like on top of a filing cabinet like this. And it's a weird scene, but it's because he's trying to get the angle. He's trying to let
Hmm.
people like Jim and other people like see his viewpoint and be like, yes, I can see it, kind of a thing.
That's funny. That's cool.
Yeah.
Also, his couple of disguises that he wears are pretty good. It's cool to see like Tom Cruise in a different
Yes.
like mask. It's pretty good.
Well, that another thing I thought was smart. It's like obvious, but it's smart to put the actual senator, quote unquote, the actual senator, just make it Tom Cruise in makeup and
Oh yeah.
prosthetics.
and
so
have
that
him be
when
on the
they cut
news.
to him, yeah, on the news, right? And then when they cut to him at the party, it's not like, well, that doesn't look like him at all, right?
Right.
It's like,
Yeah,
well,
that's
yeah,
true. That's
it
really true.
does look like Tom Cruise with a mask on because the real guy
Hmm.
looks like Tom Cruise with a mask on.
Now, I may just be a Southern Baptist lawyer, senator,
Senator. Yeah.
but I'm gonna need to see the basement of this here establishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And I think that stuff gets enhanced in the second movie with uh
I
the
think
voice sticker.
I don't remember if the second movie has the voice sticker. The third one totally does.
Second one definitely has the voice sticker.
Okay, I just don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, it started playing while I was doing stuff and I saw the
Oh,
beginning of it.
oh, okay.
They have the he has the
Oh, he's on the plane and he pulls it. Yes.
that movie, well, we're not talking about it yet, but that movie has a great intro.
I kind of remember it, but
It's
yeah.
like, hey, remember this guy from the first movie? Like, yeah, I loved him. He's like, yeah, he's
Oh,
awful.
yeah. Yes.
It's
Yeah.
great. It's really good.
Yes, yes, yes. I do remember now. But yeah, it's I don't know. I'll save my total reservations for later, but
Okay.
down the line. But like, I have strong feelings about this movie in general.
Mm.
Um,
It's the
this,
best of the series.
yeah,
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah.
I can see that. And the thing is too, it's dated a little bit,
Well, of course, yeah,
but I will say that end, like helicopter through the tunnel, is
yes,
just insane. It's just off the walls, like
yes,
insane.
yes,
And there's a couple, it's the 90s, so they have
yeah,
to do like a couple like lines delivery like between, the whole part at the end when like he uses the gum
yes,
and he's like red light, green light. It's like, dude, you're on a moving, like,
yeah.
just do it. Like, just do it. You don't
Right,
need like a big setup thing.
right, 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 right.
That was
That
pretty funny.
I was saying to Adri, she was with me, and then when the gum explodes, she's like, "Okay, this is stupid." And I said, "This is
But
the
they show
best."
the gum a few times.
Oh yeah, she wasn't upset with the gum exploding. She was upset with the fact that he yeah, yeah, exactly. And I said this is the second best part of the movie. And yeah, I love that part. I literally rewound it and watched it again. I
That's pretty great.
absolutely love because and I know it's like way advanced into the film, but basically the thing that I love about it, he gets onto the thing, he tries to mutilate his head with the rotor with the
Oh yeah. And the tail hits. Ching! Yeah, it's great.
and then it's like, okay, now he's got a chance. And he does this thing and it's perfect. Danny Elfman, he jumps onto the whatever they call that thing, like the landing
Oh
way.
yeah. Yeah.
And when he does it, it plays that like da, 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 like that heroic, like he made it music. And then he
Yeah.
starts like pulling himself up onto the thing, and then it starts like the theme music.
Damn,
It's
damn,
just
damn, damn, damn. Yeah, it's
it's
pretty
just
good.
perfect, man. It's just so
Yeah.
perfect.
Now, the score for this movie is iconic.
Yes.
I mean, it is very, very iconic. And
Yeah.
I will say, like, they don't overuse it, which was nice.
Yeah.
In my brain, I remember like every time he's doing
All the
anything,
time.
but I
Yeah.
think they only play it like three times.
I think so. I thought four times. They play it in the
Yeah, I
beginning
mean, yeah.
when the intro happens, right?
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is cool because they do the thing that the TV show used to do, which
Mm.
was they would show you clips of episodes as the
Oh,
intro
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
happening. So when you watch the movie intro, it's showing you scenes from the movie that you haven't even seen yet. Right, right,
It's
right,
pretty good.
exactly.
Yeah, that's
Um,
pretty cool.
and then they play it when they're going to Langley,
Hmm.
and then they play it here when the helicopter and then the end credits.
The end
So
credits when he's like, nah, I'm not really into a movie, and she's like, well, this
yeah.
one's special from Jamaica. I think you're gonna want to watch it. And he's like, oh, I'm the new guy.
Oh,
Oh, it
yeah.
is cool in the beginning when he gets that assignment, and then it's like, hey, so this thing's gonna self-destruct, and he like perfectly
Oh,
times like lighting his cigar
yeah.
at the same time that like the disc goes and like fries. It's pretty good. Like as far as like spy stuff goes,
Yeah. That's good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And you know, the other cool thing I like is that they don't set up the beginning of this movie does not set up Ethan Hunt as like he is the man in
no,
charge. He is the mission man. He's
right.
just a dude on the team. I
He's
think
just
they
one of the
say
guys.
he takes point, like he's the
He's the
point
point
man,
man. So
but
basically
still,
like he does all the major moving, but that's about it.
yeah, yeah, but he's not like the dude in charge,
No, no,
So it's cool, and it's cool, like something really bad happens, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh man, they're gonna like arrest me. They're gonna
right,
pin this on me. Like I'm not gonna let that happen."
right.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. It's
How
pretty.
uh how outdated are those laptops though? Pretty bad, right? The message seeing system? Oh,
Him like typing and then it just being like 127 results, and he's just like, oh God. And he just doesn't know anything. And then he has to like email like every single like
like
Joe.
church? Yeah, I
Yeah,
know. Job 34414.
yeah.
No results. Hmm. Job 314. Oh
Yeah.
man, it's pretty good.
Right, the like
So
but the Bible ends up being a thing,
it's a
right? Like,
major point. Yeah, it's a major point.
yeah. So it's like it's
In fact, that's how he starts putting together that, the
but
gym was,
yeah, right. It's just that's what I mean.
you know, because he
And
even
they
tells him right at the end, he's like, I knew before London.
right.
Like you specifically had that Bible
Yeah.
you brought with. Yeah, it was good. It's pretty good. Max is good. Max is a cool character.
Yep.
She's a cool character.
Yep.
The introduction of like him being interrogated by her people is pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, he's like, hey, you put that basically like that's such a good like scene too, where he's like basically I could be lying about the disc, or you could put the disc in, and you'll have government agents here in 15 seconds. So either way, you can't look at it, basically.
Right, right. And she's like, "Oh, isn't that convenient that either
Oh yeah,
way?" And he's like, "Whatever." He's like, "But you
I don't
probably
care. Yeah.
back up first."
And the other good disc scene is when he goes on and on to Krieger about like, oh, look at here's the disc. Oh, it's gone, gone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He does this whole mantra about it, and then he
Yeah,
talks to like two more people in the room, and then everybody
yeah,
goes to bed, and
yeah.
then you see him like walk over and take it out of the. Oh man, it's such a great scene
Yes.
because like while that scene was happening, I was like, man, it would be so good if like Krieger actually had the real one the whole time. It'd be so good.
Yeah.
And then that scene plays out for a long time to the point where like you kind of forget
Long.
about it.
Yeah.
And then you see him walk over and he's like, he takes it out. And he's like, Krieger had the real disc.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, 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 he did. It's like, dude, that's a great scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
great scene.
so they have like a little clock thing when they go to Langley. They have like a little clock so you can kind of
Hmm.
follow the time of how long they're in there.
Yeah.
The fireman thing is fine. Obviously, that gets him in the building.
Oh, yeah.
They attack the guy. Okay,
It's
like
also just such a like watching movies like this in this time period
yeah,
is pre 9/11.
yes.
Security is just so
So much
like
more lax.
lax.
Yes.
And it's like it's not and it's like you watch this movie now and you're like, that's unreal. It's like, no, that's how things were.
That's
You
how
could
things
just
were.
walk in.
Yeah.
Like you're in Langley and you're like, hey, I'm a firefighter, man. I gotta get into that. I gotta check that room. Like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
well, you gotta let him in, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, they attack the guy. He doesn't report back to station. Like, oh,
Hey,
okay.
wasn't there three of you guys?
You're right, yeah.
What happened to the third person?
And that's when we see the knife for the first time,
It's when you
right?
see the knife and he's like, hey, no body count. He's like, "Mm, we'll see."
We'll see. Go up in the vents. I love, even though you and I both know they don't
Yeah.
build vents so that humans can crawl through them.
Not overly, not overly.
Not really, but it's
There
okay.
are there are like air ducts that are big for like facilities, but
Yeah.
they don't hold human weight. I'll tell you
No,
that. Even if they
no, right.
do, even if you could fit in there.
Yeah. You're coming out of it pretty fast.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I like the thing that it's clear that they're actually climbing it. You can see that Tom and Jean are like
Oh yeah.
actually like straining and pulling and stuff. That's
Is
great.
this does this movie start off like Tom Cruise is like doing his own stunt thing? Like is this kind of,
No, I don't think so. I think some of Top Gun was some of him, and I think there's another movie. There's another one earlier than this, and I want to say
hmm.
The Firm, maybe. I think The
Oh,
Firm is.
okay. Because I just know, these movies have such a like recently have such a history of like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, Tom Cruise did that. It's like, why
I
did he
think
do that?
I think the next one is like the one where it's like officially crazy.
Because there's the one where he holds his breath in the tank for like
Yes.
10 minutes, like
Yes.
legitimately.
Right.
There's the other one, the newest one where he holds onto the plane while it's taking off with like
Yes,
just a
yes,
rope
yes.
on. Like, dude, he's insane.
It's
He's
good though.
insane.
I mean, when you watch it, you're like, nice.
Yeah, practical effects is always looks better.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we could like CGI you hanging out of a window, but like it'd look a lot better if you just hung out. He's like, yeah,
Well,
I'll do it.
that's what makes this so great. It's
Yeah,
like clearly they have
a
a big
giant fan.
fan to make it look crazy, but like
He's
he's
on
doing good
there.
stuff. He's on it.
They probably legitimately have like an actual like plane engine in the back, like blowing.
Probably.
And that scene is so great. That's the first time in a movie I can remember where I've seen like somebody actually takes advantage of like physics.
Yes. Yes.
They're climbing to the back of the plane, so to the train. The
Yeah.
train's moving forward, and to gain speed and momentum to catch up to Jim, he like lets go of the
Yes.
train and like the lets the basically lets the train go underneath him
Right.
as he like goes to the back. I'm like, man, that's really good. That's really good.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not just like he's like he lets go and he's just like ding, 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 like all the way to the end. He lets go and then he kind of like flails over the thing and he's like and he's trying to like get his balance again before he like
Right.
lets go again. It's
Right.
great. It's so good.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But he when he gets up, they climb into the vents and they go through and they're doing the whole like sound thing and they're going through it and
Oh
they're on the
yeah,
top and he puts
toast,
the toast.
toast.
Yeah. And they put the little
The laser thing.
yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
They go through and they have little magnet things and all that good stuff. And they go through and it's fine. It's fine. And he's dropping down. It's very iconic.
Uh-huh.
And the guy comes in the room. He's not feeling good. So you kind of
No,
let some of the stuff go where it's like,
the fact that there's a man right above you.
but whatever. Like Spider-Man and Batman get away with it. And they're sometimes in broad
They're
daylight
usually in the dark.
too. Sometimes. So, um, and it's fine. And I'm like, okay. He goes back out. The thing that never makes sense to me, and like even now watching it, I'm always just like, why though? They don't set it up, and
Hmm.
it's one of the things
Why
where,
is he terrified of a rat?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like, why does he have to crush it or kill it or whatever he does to it? And it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
I don't. It's like, is he afraid that it's gonna like walk into the hole and just be like, yeah, like into the?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't
Yeah.
know. They don't really set that
He
up
seems
well.
genuinely afraid of it when he first sees
He
it.
does. And the other thing is, and I think it's supposed to, I think it's just a weird timing thing with visual stuff. He hangs at the bottom of that floor like way too long.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah, he
understand the
does.
guy's got to get his strength and like and then start pulling him up, but like he dangles pretty good. And then the third thing is when the sweat comes, which is great, but
Mm.
like the way the hand catches the
Oh, it's
sweat, it's
totally
like
shot in a whole different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's no way you could. His hand would have to be like. So if he's like this, he
Yeah,
literally
it's
would
up
have to
it's
be
up
like
here.
this. Right, right. He'd have to be like this. And it's just that's not the angle they show you. They show like this type of an angle and not like a weird.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And they set that scene up good too, because they're like, hey, so even if you put this cup here
Yes.
and the condensation just drops in his, you're done, you're toast.
Yeah. Toast.
Toast.
Yeah.
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 Now
I
it's
like.
funny because with hindsight, knowing that Krieger is the bad guy too, like
Yeah.
he also has to fulfill this mission and get out of there, or he's done too.
Right.
It's like he knows, like he got to go through with this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it maybe what it's just supposed to show is like this guy is a little impulsive,
Hmm.
right? Like he kills the mouse. He has the knife in his hand, he drops it. So that like
Oh,
later when the helicopter like comes into the tunnel, like he tries to chop his head off, which
it shows that he's not like great at his
yeah,
job. He's
right, right.
hmm Now the knife falling
Mm,
and landing as soon as the door makes noise opening is pretty good.
yes. Yes, yes, yes.
And I also like the guy, the guard guy. He sees the knife and he's like,
Oh.
"Huh, huh." And he looks up and like the lasers are activated. He's like, well, lasers are activated, so whatever. And he walks over to the computer, and the computer's like, hey, all this stuff was downloaded. And he's like, my God.
Yeah.
And then he is demoted
Oh,
like really
like a,
badly. What does he say? He's like, I want him
like a
guarding like
listening
cell
post to
phone
Alaska
towers
or
or something.
something. Yeah. And he goes, then you can mail him his clothes.
Oh man, that
Yep.
guy's good too.
Kittredge. Yeah.
Kittredge is good.
Yes.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
They're gonna start kissing with the devil. I just want to make sure you do it in hell.
Imagine what a man who killed his whole team would do if
Yeah.
someone arrested his parents on false charges.
Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty good.
You've never seen me very upset.
You've never seen me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
But that's real. That's another real stunt thing is him literally running out of that building while there's like hundreds of gallons of water being.
Oh yeah. When he blows up the fish tank thing.
Yeah. Like in visual, you think, oh, it's just water, but like in reality, like he could have actually gotten really hurt from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he jump out the window? Or he throws a guy out the window. Somebody goes out the window
Oh,
before he
the when the
runs out.
bomb goes off, it like launches the guy through the window.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gum is pretty cool concept.
Yeah. Red light, green light. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm trying to remember what other cool spy equipment they had.
Oh, well,
Her
they
her
had
pen
her pen.
her pen was cool. She was
Yeah.
sitting there basically like writing on her notes and she just injected like into his drink.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
And he was like, "Oh," and then she slides that tiny little microchip on his shoulder.
Oh yeah, tracker.
Yeah.
And then he gets up and she gets up and just walks away and he's just like, man, people are weird. It's like, dude, like your job is pretty important at Langley. I mean, yeah, I would notice when just random people sat next to you or, didn't communicate with you. Like that would probably be a red flag.
Now your coffee tastes a little. No.
Yeah. Hmm.
Is this vomit juice?
Nobody would be messing with me. I just control the computer that has all the spies throughout history on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody would want that
Oh,
kind of information. Ah, that's funny.
yeah.
It's funny too that James Bond, Isn't that what Sky? No. One of the James Bond movies, the operation was like releasing all of the spies.
I think it's Skyfall.
Is it Skyfall? But that's
Yeah.
not what Operation Skyfall was. Well, yeah, maybe it was to
Yeah.
release all MI
Yeah,
agents.
MI5 stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. So that's kind of the
Yeah. They
same thing.
basically try to like, I think, out all the agents.
Yeah.
And yeah. Because
Yeah, it
what's his
makes
name?
sense that that would
Javier,
sell.
Javier Bardem is like an old agent and he's just like, eat it.
Man, he's good though.
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
Go watch it on the channel right now.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm afraid your friend Memphis. My friend Memphis. Those are great movies, dude. Those first couple James Bond movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
But this to me is right up there, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I feel like this and Casino Royale are
Oh,
very,
like
very, very good.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect cinematic masterpiece. You don't hear us say that much,
No,
especially of late.
not to this degree, because there's a lot of good movies, but like,
Hmm.
there's very few movies that we talk about or watch that are like, I don't know. There's just like they're very well written. Like clearly somebody gave more
Yeah.
than like, oh, I'm getting a paycheck at the end of the week.
Hmm.
Like they actually wanted to make a good movie, and it shows.
Yeah, it's funny. I literally was just thinking about when we were talking about the technology in this movie. I was just thinking about like we started watching House again from the beginning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And first of all, I was thinking like how funny it is that like they all have like flip phones
Oh, yes.
and like pagers and stuff.
Hmm.
And I think doctors still use pagers, but that, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
funny to me like that was like the big tech back then was like, oh, House has a razor
Yes.
and it's cool. But I think like we are saying about things that are like written very well. I think like that show above a lot of shows is like a very
Oh, it's very well.
written very well,
Very well. Very,
like
very well.
medically researched, that
Yeah.
kind of writing.
Yeah. But also the character development is also very, very good too.
It is. Yeah, it really is. And acting is good.
Yep.
And you don't find that much. You don't
Not to
find
the
it.
degree of that show, no. It's like
No.
Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is another show where they don't waste anything. They don't waste an
Yeah.
actor. They don't waste a scene. They don't waste an episode. Everything has a purpose.
Gilligan or yeah.
Yeah, Vince
Yeah,
Gilligan, I think.
Vince Gilligan, he likes to write in a way where like he shows you something in
Right.
the beginning of the series and then like it pays off at the end and it's like not what you expect. Remember the season where they show like all that body parts and stuff floating in
Oh yeah.
Walter's pool? Like
Yes.
the intro of every episode that season was like
Yes.
fishing stuff out of the pool, and you're like,
Yes.
oh man, and then all it was just like the plane crashed into
Yes.
the other plane because Jesse's girlfriend died, and her dad was like the flight guy in the
Yep.
tower.
Yep.
So it was like this whole thing like built up to that, but like you're just like, what is this? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And then like that's what it was. It was like, man, that's great.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It is.
And
But
Better Call
that's
Saul is very well written too,
I
that
haven't
show.
seen it. I haven't seen it.
Man, it's good. It's really good from the beginning all the way to the end.
I would expect it to. I would expect it. Yeah.
It's very good. It's very good. He's a
The
great character.
and that's kind of what I mean. Like with this Mission Impossible movie, it is. I just feel like they from beginning to end present a very like they're really. It's fun to bring him back, and it's fun to have him be thrown into more terrible situations and make the mission more impossible and make the stunts more crazy. It's
Yeah.
fine, but it's like this movie never ever needs a sequel, like ever.
No, 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 it doesn't. And so to that's the point. Is like, because I know, I think I remember the trailer for like Skyfall was them trying to like clear their name or something. And then so I was, when I rewatched this, I was like, is that legitimately what like every movie is them trying to like solve this thing? Like you get
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
get off the list or, prove his innocence. Kind of
Right.
like Jason Bourne, like every Jason Bourne movie is like him
Yeah.
trying to like prove that he's not an assassin anymore. Like,
Yeah. He's
but
trying to
it's
find people who were in charge of the program that made him. I forget what the
right, yeah.
Stonehenge or something like that. He's trying to find those people. I forget what the
Freight,
program's
freight
called, but
car,
no,
box
not
car,
that. No, not that.
ice cream truck,
Ice cream truck.
freight car,
Yeah.
soda Papinskis. No, no. Mission Report 1996.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I was like, hey, are all these movies about this? But like, no, he's just back to being an agent at the end of this movie.
Yeah. Well, now he's in charge.
He's the man in the chair.
Yeah, he is.
Now he's gonna kill his team. And
Exactly.
so what ended up being Jim's reasoning for doing this? I can't remember. Just he hates the
He,
president and he wants money.
yeah.
He goes on that
Yes.
whole speech about like, yeah,
Yes.
you do this job for 40 years. Next thing you know, you look up at the president. You didn't even vote for the president. You don't even know why this guy's here. And you're like, what?
Basically, he was explaining like when he was like Ethan, like when he was that type of a guy, like he did all of this stuff and then
Hmm.
years went by and now he's just a guy and he has no pull anymore. He doesn't
Yeah.
like who the president is has nothing to do with him. Like
Well,
he
yeah.
didn't make sure that this guy got in there or anything like that. He says it's been like 40 years. He has a lousy marriage, according to him. And,
Yeah. Well, he
uh,
shoots her, so it's got to be
well,
pretty
right.
bad.
And he makes like $65,000 a year or something like that,
Yeah.
like on his paycheck. So he's just like,
Yeah.
what's the point?
He's just disgruntled.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Max wants the list because it's like such a huge like
She can sell it to
incentive. Like,
anybody. Right.
yeah.
I mean, she's willing back in the 90s to drop $10 million for it, and she
Oh
doesn't even
wow.
care.
That's like $100 million in today's.
I don't even know what it is, but yeah, it's probably
That's like 20 now.
probably. Let's see.
10 million is probably like 50, 60 million.
Uh, let's see. Is this the right number? I can't.
It's got a lot of zeros. I've
Yes.
never even seen that many zeros.
It is equivalent to, yeah, $20 million.
Oh, so it's only doubled.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But still, I mean, that's
Yeah.
to just be like, 20 million by our thing, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. But when the government spends 20 million on Phillip head screws for the tanks that you can buy at Lowe's for 45 cents, that's not really anything too crazy.
True.
But yeah, that's interesting. I was surprised that he shot her at the end.
Yeah, and Adri was too, and I think the whole thing
She
was
says, Jim, no, like don't kill Ethan because
right.
obviously she has feelings for him. And he's like, oh, no, thank you.
Right. He basically what it is he says he had a lousy marriage, so he doesn't like his wife. And he sees that Ethan has
She's,
been
she's too old.
yeah, right, well. And he sees that Ethan is a little familiar with her, and he doesn't like
Hmm.
that either. So that's why he pushes her off on him to like basically get him to do things the way Jim
Yeah.
wants them to go. And then um
Hmm.
and so then at the end, when it's about to be the two of them and she's trying to be like, hey, it's okay, like we could just leave. Nobody's
Yeah.
seen your face. Like, you don't need to kill Ethan. Just let him fall for it and we'll leave. And then Kittredge, he shows Kittredge Jim's face and he's like, yeah, so I'm not the only one now. And and now Jim,
Hmm.
is pretty much he has to kill Ethan.
Yep.
And she's like, no, don't, not Ethan. And he's like, okay,
Yeah.
you're dead.
It was a surprise. I was also surprised that she was in on it. Um,
Yeah.
because she plays that scene like so good. When she first shows up to the safe house and he's like in a mad like frenzy at that point, and he was like, "Ah, you were in the car. I saw you in the car.
Yes.
Like you're supposed to be dead. You're supposed to be dead." And she does that thing where she's like, "No, he aborted the mission. We
Right.
were supposed to meet back here at 4 if he aborted the mission. Like he aborted the mission. It's 4 o'clock and the bell chimes." I was like, "Man, that's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. Like it's very convincing. It's very convincing."
Yeah. But she's
Even
like,
when
I was up
he,
on the bridge looking for Jim. He's like, I was on the bridge. Right. She's
yeah,
like, no, no, no. Yeah. The more he like presses her, the more she just changes her tune to the next thing, which at the time is just like, oh, okay, yeah, she's just shocked that her husband is dead and like she
yeah,
just came back to the safe house at 4. But when you look at it retroactively, like every time he pushes her with like, no, you were in the car, and she's like, no, I wasn't in the car, and she's like, I was on the bridge. He's like, I was on the bridge. Every time he
yeah.
pushes, she then she changes it to,
She changes her story.
it's like, well, it's 4 o'clock, I'm here. And he's like,
Hmm.
oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
that part like was like convincing that like why
Right,
she
exactly.
waited until 4 to show back up.
Right, exactly.
Um, but then obviously that scene where he talks to Jim in the cafe, which is such a funny thing too. Like why reveal yourself? Why reveal yourself to Ethan at
I
that
don't
point?
know.
But he reveals himself, and then when he goes back to the hotel, it's like Ethan knows. Like, there's no way that Jim is alive and she doesn't know it. Like
Yeah.
as his wife, there's no way. And they play that scene like very like where she's like, "Oh, come hold my hand and sit down," and you can just tell he's just like, "Okay, I can't let her know that I know that she knows."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think I think it's supposed to be, it's the scene where it seems like John Voight and Tom Cruise are really bad at acting in the scene.
mm.
But what the reality of it is they're both lying to each other and they
No,
both know that
no,
the other one is lying.
no, no. How?
Right.
Why would she? How? No, no.
Right.
That's
Uh,
impossible.
and what it ends up coming across is like, right, Jim knows Ethan is lying and Ethan knows Jim is lying.
Hmm.
So he basically tries to sell him on the Kittredge thing. Kittredge did it. And then he basically
Oh yeah.
sees
Hmm.
Ethan go like, no, no.
Yeah, yeah,
And so once that happens, his only option is, okay, so they arrest Ethan. Kittredge arrests him. He's immediately going to be like, he knows that Jim is alive. He's gonna be like,
yeah,
Jim Phelps is dead. You need to track. Like, you can arrest me, but you got to track this guy down. So basically, like, oh well. And so
yeah,
instead of shooting Ethan, he shoots his wife for whatever reason. I think
yeah. Right. He
out of fury. I think.
should have shot Ethan first, probably.
Right.
I think Ethan reveals his plan too quickly in that scene too.
Yes.
Um, yeah, like almost like poking the bear. Jim's like, we're just taking the disc and we're just leaving. And he was like, oh, hmm. You know what else is interesting, Jim, is that everyone's seen your face. And he like throws the glasses at him and he's just like, what? Just let him go. Like you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like having to like tell him that like you beat him,
it's definitely a very rushed.
That part is, yeah.
Well, but honestly, like the whole, I think it's supposed to just feel, you're supposed to feel like the anxiety behind it. Because
Hmm.
once the hand holding thing that you were talking about, she's like, oh, and then they cut to the train, like the train stuff, and Kittredge is getting the tickets to get on the train. It's all very like hype. It's like all accelerated. Everything is like Max is on the train and
Oh,
Luther's
everybody.
on the right, and it's like Luther's on the thing. We're not going to show you who's assembling the gun. You assume it's Ethan.
Oh,
You
dude, the
assume it's
gun.
Jim. Yeah,
The assembly of the gun is a pretty sweet too.
yeah.
What did I just saw something about that. Some prop guy was just talking about the gun on like how um
Hmm.
they were like, yeah, we don't know. It's like you can just kind of make it up. And like over the weekend, the guy like went home and he came back Monday and he was like, hey, so here's this thing. It like fully comes apart and like you can like take it apart and put it together like a real gun. And it was like, man, where did I literally just heard that somewhere.
I know.
Mm. But I was like, hey, that's a really cool story, but I didn't remember like what it was from until I saw this scene. I was like, oh my God, I just was seeing like the guy explaining like how he built that.
Hmm.
It's really cool. So it's like a radio, right? Isn't it like a
Yeah, it's
radio
like
and
a
he
little
like takes it
box. Yeah.
apart? Yeah. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna I'm not saying anything because I'm not gonna hold to it.
Then I'm gonna
I'll never
delete it.
this is all cut. But yeah, I did just hear something about that. I don't know if it was on an Adam Savage video, but I mean that sounds about right.
You know what's really funny about these? I was thinking, other than probably the last Mission Impossible that we cover before the theater one,
Yeah.
um, you literally could like release, you could edit all these and then literally release them like a week, like each week, like whatever, 5, 6 weeks before the movie comes out.
That'd be fun.
It'd be interesting. Yeah.
I'll just release them as one full video. 12 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Trying to remember anything else.
Oh, the one thing I didn't mention, and it's not necessarily, it is movie related, but it's not in the movie, is there was another big thing that I used to do all the time when I was a young kid, and I always had to rent it.
Dan, dan,
Dun,
dan,
dun,
dan,
dun,
dan,
dun,
dan.
dun, is
Like Jim Carrey in
yeah,
Ace
yeah.
Ventura.
Oh
Dan, dan,
yeah.
dan.
Is when um I always had to rent it from Blockbuster or Hollywood Video, which was the N64 Mission Impossible video game.
Wow.
And I had to rent it and I always got stuck at the a level where you were on top of the roof breaking into Langley.
Oh.
A little different than the movie, but and you
Huh.
had to like be sneaky and do all this stuff. And then when you're going down into the room, it's like lasers. There's
Oh,
like moving lasers in the room that you have to avoid.
like Resident Evil.
Yes. But imagine being suspended by a rope and like going in
That
down
sounds
the
awful.
floor. It's hard. It was really hard. But the opening thing is like there's a thing where you poison the guy's drink and like you get the thing and you walk around and it was a super fun. Once I bought the game for my like later, I beat it because I had infinite time to play the game to beat that specific level and then I finally beat the game and it was
It's
super fun.
called Mission Impossible. Expect the possible. Expect the impossible is like the tagline.
Tagline, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a reddish orange label with
Yeah.
the yellow with like the
It
little
has a planet with like a little
yeah.
bomb. trigger thing.
Yeah,
It looks like the old
James Bond.
James Bond games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
GoldenEye. Yeah.
Uh-huh. I'm looking at this mission you're talking about right here. Oh,
Yep.
that looks horrible.
Yeah. I used to play, so I used to watch this movie constantly and then would play the video game too. Like I'd go back and play the whole game in
That's
one
funny.
sitting. Yeah. I don't even think now I could even beat it. It probably so impossibly hard now.
Eh, I get it.
Then there was another one that came out. It was called like Mission Impossible something, and it was for the Xbox. And that one had a really interesting game mechanic, and I don't remember what it was. It was
you could
like take hostages or something, or I don't remember. But anyways, it was that was another
hmm,
really fun game.
Operation CERM, Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
Operation Surma. Does that sound familiar?
maybe
Surma. It's got like Ethan hiding against the
the wall and there's like
pipe.
green
Yeah.
text. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But anyways, it's just the N64 one obviously ties into the movie like much closer than it's like pretty much it's like GoldenEye, but just stretched out a little bit.
Well, it's funny that like we have not had any new like Mission Impossible or like James Bond games. Like they made a James Bond tie-in game for Quantum of Solace.
They make James Bond games pretty regularly, but they're always like Sean Connery games.
Really?
Yeah.
And they're for like Game Boy Color. Like they're still making games on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's hmm. I think
Well,
it's just the rights thing. They just
here's
have
a here's a funny retro game story. So my in-laws came over last weekend and they brought McKenna's old PlayStation
oh
1
yeah. Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh man, this is really cool, you know? Like this would be fun." So first of all, I had to buy an adapter.
Yeah. Yes.
I had to buy an ACV to HDMI adapter
Yeah.
for it to work on modern televisions. And it
Yes.
does. It totally works. It works fine. But God, does it look terrible.
It's yeah.
It's so bad. It's like, oh, it makes my eyes hurt.
It's so bad, right? It's so bad.
It's so bad. But it was really cool because it was like, so they brought over a few games that she used to play, and it was like the Frogger 2, which was like her favorite game. It was like the whole reason she wanted it was like for Frogger.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she also had Rocket Power.
Yeah. 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 Okay.
And it was like I took it out of the bag and I just had this like just this brain blast.
Yeah. You had the
Just like, oh. I like grew up playing Rocket Power on the PS1 like all the time.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, I like have such great like memories playing like Rocket Power with like Noah and
Yeah.
oh man. So I popped that baby in. I tell you, man, I played it for about 3 minutes and that was enough. It's like
Yeah.
no, it's funny because like you comparing it because like they just remade like Tony Hawk 1 and 2
Oh, sure. Sure.
and it's just like it's great. It's great. So here
Right.
I'm playing Rocket Power and it's like you can't even grind on like poles. Like you have to like clip into the pole and then hit the
Oh,
grind
yes.
button and then auto like grind and he goes psh, and he like barely moves and then he like falls off. I'm just like, oh my God, this is bad. It's really bad. It's really bad. And the loading. Oh my God, the loading. It was like, so if you die in
Yeah.
like story mode, it's like game over and like, okay, reload. So it like reloads back to like not the menu, but like hey, here's your mission. Hit X to move on.
Oh.
You hit X and it's like, all right, loading again.
Oh.
And then it loads in the level and it's like, all right, beat the time on this on the slope. And you're like, got it. You hit X and it's like loading again to load in. Like, I'm like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. I remember when people were like complaining about Skyrim when Skyrim first came out. It was like you'd walk into a door and it'd be like a load screen for like
Yeah.
doors.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's pretty bad. But then you go back and play Rocket Power and then talking
True.
about load screens. I was like, what did we do back then? Because it's like now, we're all on our phones. That's like if a game takes like 5 minutes to like find a match or load, I'm just like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. I'm
There's
playing a
more
game on
time.
my phone while I'm waiting for my game to load. I'm
Isn't
catching
it,
Pokemon while I'm
isn't
waiting
it
for
crazy? It's
the
crazy
shuttle
that
bus.
how instant gratification has like totally changed our perception.
Ruined ruined our lives. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's great.
I
That's
could
the
right now
real
get on my
Mission
phone,
Impossible.
play something. Oh, I'm done with that. Go over here, do this now. Yeah.
Mhm. How many times have you been waiting for like the battle bus to take you to the island and you're like, oh yeah, I might as well just see if I can, feed a couple of these
Bro,
fiends quick.
this is the worst thing I do, and I think a lot of people do it. It's the absolute worst, atrocious thing I do. And when I do it, I say nope, and I turn off my phone. I like literally put my phone away from me. Is
Mhm.
I'm on Instagram and I'm scrolling reels.
Mhm.
So
Oh God.
I'm doing the brain rot and I'm scrolling reels.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, ugh, this is boring. And I close Instagram. 2 seconds go by and I open
Open
Instagram.
Instagram again. Yeah.
Yep.
Why is nobody posting anything?
And I scroll. I start to scroll again. And I'm like, wait a minute.
I
No.
just I just got off it. Yeah.
That's when I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
all right.
I've been on the phone too much. I need to get up
Yeah.
to go do
I
something.
I need to go like outside or something.
Right, right, exactly. Like I just so sometimes what happens, like people will be texting me and I'll just be like, I can't. I'm not even looking at my phone. I'm gonna walk around the house for a little bit, go outside,
I used to do
read a book.
this thing a while ago, like when I was trying to like be better, I would like if I was doing something like that and I was waiting for something to load, I would like just do a couple push-ups
Oh wow,
and
yeah,
just
yeah.
like wait, like do a few push-ups while you're waiting. And it was like I did that for about a week, and then
Wow.
like everything else, you just stop doing it. I was like, yeah, I don't even need to play video games. I'll just, I'll just, I could just go, like eat pizza,
Yeah.
and then I don't have to do it. Push-ups.
Yep,
Oh, it's fun.
it is.
Yeah, that's a real Mission Impossible.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm trying to remember any other scenes that really stood out to me. I think we covered all the major.
we covered all the big ones. It's not a long movie.
The
It's under 2 hours, which is rare these
well,
days.
and that's the thing too. I will say about like why this movie is good is like any movie where like you don't realize that you've been watching it for
Yeah,
2 hours is a good movie.
perfect. Yep.
Yeah, like I was like,
And
man, it's over.
and the other thing too is it's a little fast paced. You know what I
It
mean?
is fast. Yeah,
Which is, which could be a negative, but at the same time, like it's also good for you to like kind of you have to like stay with it, which keeps your attention, right?
you
Because
have to you
like,
have to
oh,
physically watch it too
right.
because you're seeing subtle details and stuff. I remember you telling me that's like the Batman movie is very
Oh,
much like watch it when you have time to watch it
right, right,
because
right.
there's a lot of like details in it.
That if you like look away from it or
Yeah.
don't, whatever, like you just miss so much stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny thing that happened to me. So I was watching Mission Impossible on my computer
Okay.
and I got almost to the end and I went to go do something else. And then the next day I was like, all right, well, if I can watch these last 20 minutes.
Okay.
And I watched it on my phone.
Oh,
And so it started at the part where he's in Is it Grand Central where he's on the phone? He's in the train
Yeah.
station on the phone.
He's in the underground.
He is in the underground. That's right. I saw the sign.
Yeah, yeah.
The London Underground. It's a
Yeah.
good logo. Good
Yeah.
strong logo.
Good,
Um,
strong logo.
I don't know why I chose that being in the US,
Mission
but
Impossible.
it's cool. The underground is cool.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So he's
So
there. Yeah.
so I'm there and I start playing it on my phone and I'm watching it and he's talking on the phone
Hmm.
and he looks up at the clock and then all of a sudden I get this narrator and he's like, Ethan looks at the clock. I
Oh,
was like, what? What? What is
I
this?
know
And
exactly
I
what.
was like, okay. And then again, it's like it just starts like explaining everything that's going on. So like a scene would happen, and then it'd be like Ethan grins and looks at the camera. Jim walks in. Ethan's surprised he's alive. It's like, dude, what is? I'm going through all the settings. Nothing. Nothing in there.
Oh,
I'm
it's
just
so
like,
good.
what?
Audio descriptive
It
English.
is, but it was
Yeah.
like I couldn't find the setting for it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's hilarious, dude.
And I was like, great. So I just got some work done and I could just I could just listen to it.
So one of the best things I could tell you a funny story with that was as a kid, it would when you had like your parents' television, you could
Mm,
I my thing was to like I always like to do things that like you were told not to do. So I
mm,
would sit there, but I would never finalize anything. I would go on to my parents' menu, TV menu, and like look at stuff, but I would never push okay because I didn't want to screw with something and get in trouble.
yeah.
So finally I got my own TV in my room and I go to the settings and I'm like, all right, we're touching everything.
I'm trying every setting available.
And I got to audio, what you're saying, like English description.
Yeah, it's for like hard of hearing.
Yeah. I think it's yeah, I think it's for people who can't see well. It's like for blind
Yeah.
people. And
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, right.
so I put it on and it was a Law and Order episode. I don't know what it was.
Oh
And
no.
it's like the guy was like talking and it was like he turns and faces whoever and I was like, "What?" I was like they're describing what happens in the scene and I
A
literally
dead child on the street, blood all
right.
over.
And I
Like,
was
what?
like I watched about 5 minutes of it and I was like,
This is stupid.
I don't want to do this. This is
I don't
terrible.
like this. Let me watch something else. You put something else on. Same thing.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, like like when you have your phone in your hand,
Yeah.
somehow it gets on to like something
Oh,
that you've
sure.
never seen before.
Yeah. Absolutely.
My phone has this feature where like I can take the message box and like drag it to the background and make it like small. So you
Oh.
can like have your message box and like still type on it while the rest of your phone is
Oh.
playing a video or whatever.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't
Wow.
know how to do it,
Oh. Okay.
but I know that it does it because I'll like do something, I'll swipe and I'll look back and it's there. And I'm like, I don't know how to get, and then you can't get rid of the message box. And it's really annoying. It's really annoying that I can't figure it out. So I have to like close the phone and reopen it. And then sometimes like it does that thing where it'll read you like menus.
Oh, yes.
Like you'll open a menu and it's like settings, change your settings, all the settings. It's just like, why is it reading? Why is it reading this stuff? I don't understand.
I think your phone, it sounds like your phone is trying to, it's saying, it's time, buddy. It's time.
Yeah.
You can't
I think
see in
based
here. Well, we're going to help you
It's
out.
like, hey, we've seen the reels and the TikTok videos that you watch. You're definitely blind and stupid. So here you go.
Yeah.
It was just really funny, and it was like I looked it up because I was like, "Am I going crazy?" So I looked it up, and it's like a thing like Paramount has in their settings. But then I went into settings, and it's nowhere to be found in settings.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
great. So I
Well,
watched the
that
whole
is the
rest of the
one.
movie like that.
Did you really?
I did. Yeah, I did. I told you I think I was taking a 3D print off the bed
Oh,
like in
oh.
the morning before I went, and then I had to cut vinyl for work. So I was doing all that, and I was just like, like working, and it was like Ethan has a conversation with Jim. And I was like, nice. I can get so much work done now.
That's how you're gonna watch movies from.
Yeah, I'm never looking back, buddy. The helicopter blade comes dangerously close to Ethan's neck.
Oh.
The train conductor passes out. I was like, nice. That was a good scene.
I just want you to be like,
Wow.
oh, the helicopter plane gets close, it's dangerously close to cutting East's neck, and you're like, oh, wow, and then you like, and then go back to, let's get a quick visual of that. Great, that looks great. Let's keep going.
Paramount, rewind 10 seconds.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Ethan
it's pretty
mashes
good.
gum and slaps it to the window of the helicopter.
Ooh. Pause.
The
Yeah, that was pretty good.
helicopter explodes and Ethan's propelled to the train.
It did though. I think it did say in that scene, that's why that like stood out to me was like the helicopter blade almost kills Ethan and
Oh,
the, the conductor stands
diabolical.
up and then passes out. It's like what?
Wow.
This is great.
I don't think I have the nerves. I don't have the nerves to sit through an entire movie and listen to that.
No. I hate when like subtitles are on too.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, because then I feel like I'm like forced to read the subtitles and then I
Mhm.
don't see what's going on the screen. And then most of the time they take up so much room on the bottom. Oh, it just drives me nuts.
That's fair.
Yeah, it drives me
I like them, but it's okay.
bonkers.
It's just a preference thing.
Do you feel like you spend more time reading?
No, I honestly, I get so used to them that like when we go to the theaters and watch stuff, like I miss so much of the movie. I'm like, I know I don't know what that person just said. Like I don't know
Yeah.
they, and it's like, and I also know I'm missing parts of the movie, and I'm gonna be like, and I'm gonna try not to complain about it and just hope visually it's explained. And then when I
Mm,
finally get it, we get it, it's on Disney Plus, it's on Max, it's on whatever. I'll watch it and then I'll be like, oh, okay. But
mm,
that's just like that's a me thing. Like I just have a harder time with it. I don't know why. I just do. I've grown accustomed to subtitles. I mean, I watch Dragon Ball with subtitles. I watch everything with subtitles.
mm. That's interesting. Yeah, McKenna always watches stuff with subtitles. And like if we watch stuff together, the first thing I have to do is like turn them off. I like can't
Yeah, you know, it's all right. It's okay. Yeah,
I
it's just
can't stand it, and I can't stand people that use.
a yeah,
Mm,
yeah. So this is a great. One of the things I love about the franchise is like this is a great introduction to the franchise. It's not one of those things that you go to sit down and watch a franchise and you're like, hey, the first two movies are terrible,
yeah,
but by three and four they're great.
yeah. Stick with it
Right, right. It's
because right
nice that
about seven, is seven good? Man, is seven good? Like, yeah,
right.
I'm good.
So
Funny, I'm already good. So,
yeah, so I well, obviously we're gonna talk about two and three, but I'm interested when we get to four and five, like how you feel because you haven't seen those,
they're
or
more
if
modern. Yeah,
and if you haven't seen, maybe you've seen four, but by the time we get to the more recent ones, curious to see how you feel about it.
yeah. I'm struggling to remember anything past two. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mostly remember two. I don't remember. I don't remember three. I think two, if I remember two correctly, the way I think I remember it, two feels more like a James Bond movie. There's like a love interest.
Yes.
He's trying to be a spy. He's undercover. The bad guy is like it's a face-off situation where you don't know
Yes.
which is the real Ethan. Then Ethan fights Ethan, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like drastically different than this.
Yes. It is drastically different than this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it starts right off. He's like, "No, brother, there has to be one in the wreckage."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. And then we can watch Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
We should rewatch that and talk about it. That's a good movie.
Yeah, there's even talks of two.
Ooh,
Yep.
Edge of Yesterday.
That's right.
It's the sequel because that's what movies do now. They have a successful movie, and 10 years later, they do like, hey, you want to see what happened before this movie? It's real boring.
It's
Like, yeah,
really boring.
absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely, do I?
Tom Cruise will be in the last 4 minutes.
And how?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's her story. It's all how
Right,
she
right,
became
right.
like,
Yep.
oh man. Well, maybe, after this winter, I'm trying to think of a good month. But like instead of a kaiju month, we should do like an invasion month. And it's
Ooh.
all invasion movies.
All alien invasion movies?
Yep.
Wow. Mars
Yeah.
Attacks.
Mars Attacks.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Edge of
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Great,
Edge of
great.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Mm.
What's the other one? There's only one of them. Um,
I love Independence Day, but yeah.
the only Independence Day ever made, the first one.
There's so many of them. So many of them.
What's the other one? We could watch Signs, M. Night Shyamalan Signs.
Signs,
We could
signs.
watch, wow, what was that
There's the
other
other
really good one
Tom
we saw?
Cruise, War of the Worlds. You love that
War
movie.
of the I so here's the thing. That's
Yeah,
a
I
good
know.
movie. That's a good movie. Can't stand Dakota Fanning in that
No,
one.
that kid is terrible in the movie. I know.
Um,
No, I know.
and it's one of those things like she's supposed to have problems,
No,
but
yeah,
it's real bad. It's
yeah,
real, real bad. The son
no.
is somebody too that's been in other stuff after that
Yes,
I was
yes,
surprised.
yeah.
That's a good the War it is a good movie. That's a good movie.
It's not bad. That's not bad.
What's the other one that we saw in theaters where she has to discover like the language?
Arrival.
Arrival. That's a great
Wonderful movie.
sci-fi
Wonderful
movie.
movie.
So yeah, so join us
Look at
next
that.
month for Invasion Month. We're doing all
Mm.
things invasion.
Yeah.
And well, that also covers Planet of the Apes because they invaded our America. Get
Yeah.
your hands off me, you damn dirty ape.
Get your hands off my hands. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I look
what's
forward to it.
the what's the really bad Scientology movie with Forrest Whitaker and John Travolta?
Oh, Battlefield Earth.
Battlefield, or that's it. Oh,
Oh, no.
what do they call? And
Don't
they
don't make
call
me watch
humans
Battlefield.
they call humans something like really stupid. It's like
Yeah, same.
manimals,
Something like that.
manimals. I'm pretty sure. Anyway,
Uh,
well, that covers Mission Impossible.
okay, there's will be like a 20-minute gap where it's just cut. So
This is all at the end.
no, Mission Impossible is a great movie. The music is great. I think I want to look him up really quick before we end here. I want to look up what Brian De Palma. That's what I meant to do earlier. I think
Hmm.
he's the director of the film. Uh,
Hmm.
I've heard his name a lot, and I was like, man, what are the other things he has done? Let me look up Brian.
Battlefield Earth.
Battlefield Earth. Um,
I think that might go
The
down as like the
Last
worst.
Jedi.
No, I
No,
know he
no,
didn't do
no,
that.
no.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Clone Wars, Last Jedi, or Battlefield Earth.
Wow.
I think Battlefield Earth is just such regarded as such just the worst movie of all time.
So you ready for this?
Yeah.
Mission to Mars.
No way.
Mission to Mars, and then Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, Snake Eyes. Isn't that the one where he time traveled? No.
No, no, no. Snake
No,
Eyes is
that
the
was
one where
time.
he goes to he goes to
I, I said don't touch the bunny.
Nevada.
Hmm. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
they're it's like it's just like it's like a crime movie.
Saving Arizona,
No,
Spider-Man Noir.
Scarface.
Ooh.
He did
Oh, really?
he did Scarface.
Wow. It's a pretty good track record.
He also did Carrie.
All fun.
Wow.
He's done a lot.
Yeah, I mean his latest movies are all like according to IMDb are pretty low,
Hmm.
but yeah. I don't know. Anyways, the guy films really interestingly. I enjoy his filming style.
Hmm.
But yeah, just I don't know. Just a really, really good movie. It always takes me back to being like 10, 11 years old and watching it in my parents' house on like VHS and then later on DVD.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and just like really digging in. And like, I remember, I could like literally remember like eating soup and like watching this movie, sitting with a
It's a good
bowl of
soup.
like
It's a good
ham.
soup movie.
Yeah. And all of my, anytime I'd play with toys and stuff, they always were hanging on for dear life, like on the train and
Yeah.
just
Oh,
all that
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, Indiana Jones was the train movie
Hmm.
with the rhino horn and the snake
Right
pit.
over. Oh, yeah.
That movie made train
So
sequences fun.
it's true.
Well, that's all right. I'll let you have this one.
Yeah. Well, this one's great too.
I just picture you watching Mission Impossible as a kid and you're eating like alphabet soup and then
Yeah.
you look down and it just says run.
It says red
Oh,
light.
oh. Red light, green light.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's a good movie. And I am wholeheartedly prepared to
Hmm.
watch these movies and see what your take is. That's what I want. And it's fine. Like as we go on, if you're like, you know what? Not my cup of tea, it's all right. I mean, this is what this is here for.
Yeah, we'll just switch over and watch the Italian Job,
Perfect.
and then not Driver, Transporter 1 and 2,
Perfect. Yep.
all of the great Jason Statham movies.
Yep.
You know them, you love them.
Yep.
Did we ever talk about the Meg 2?
We certainly did not.
We did not. We did not talk about the Meg 2. Wow.
No. That
I
will be
thought
the
we
month.
did.
That'll be the month of the
That's
sea.
that's Shark Month.
Yeah.
Watching all shark movies.
Jaws, Meg
40,
2,
42 meters, too deep, too sharky.
our anniversary return of The Shallows.
We need to watch all these really bad like sci-fi movies like Two-Headed Shark Attack, two
Sharknado.
Megalodon versus Octopus. Just Sharknadoes would be God. Oh, oh,
Yeah.
Sharknado.
Deep Blue Sea.
Sharknado. Sharknado. Deep Blue Sea is a great movie.
Yeah.
That holds up.
It holds.
I mean, it doesn't, but it does. You know what I mean?
Thomas Jane, right?
A shark ate me.
Yeah, I think LL Cool J and Thomas
Oh,
Jane.
dude,
Right?
LL Cool J, yeah, yeah, the Punisher.
Yeah, The Punisher. Yeah.
Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
thanks for
LL Samuel Jackson gets eaten.
yeah.
Remember, didn't Dave Chappelle do that scare? He's like, a shark ate me.
Yeah, oh yeah.
A motherfucking shark ate me.
Oh yeah.
I'm sick of all these snakes on this plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good. Cool. Well, yeah, I look forward to watching the second one and seeing the new one in theaters. I wonder what the popcorn bucket's gonna be.
A bomb.
Just Ethan Hunt's mouth.
I don't know
That's
if
what
they
I'm.
I don't know if they make gimmicky popcorn buckets for every movie.
I think that's the way things are going now. That's the only way movie theaters are making money.
Maybe.
Uh, did you see that the Venom ones are kind of cool? The
Oh,
new ones are pretty cool. The whole like cup is all like black, like stringy, and
okay.
like the lid is all like venomy, and then it has like his head, and the straw comes out of his mouth. And then the bucket is just his head. It's just his head, like with his tongue hanging out, and it's just it fills your. They're cool, but for me, it's just like I'm not paying all that money, and it's like you're like, oh, you want some popcorn, and you're just like, okay, my popcorn's gone because it doesn't hold any popcorn.
Right, right.
It's funny.
I've never thought once, could I eat popcorn out of a dune
You know
worm
how I
or
would like to eat
Wolverine's
my
mouth?
popcorn out of a giant sandworm.
I've never thought this is what this is missing.
You know what this popcorn bucket is missing? Resistance.
Like, I don't think so.
Oh, it's pretty good. It's pretty
Yeah.
good. I hear that new Venom movie is trash.
Well, I knew it was going to be when two was really bad, so
I didn't see two. It bums me out because I really like him.
I know.
And he said he won't play Venom again unless he's playing with Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
Perfect.
So if Disney could
Sony
just
already
hurry up and sign that, that would be
Sony already fixed the problem. They literally can just put the Venom suit on Tom Holland and have Tom Hardy voice Venom like he is in the movies. They already
uh,
fixed the problem of never having Tom Hardy in the movies and just have him voice the symbiote.
oh, I'm Venom.
Right. I mean,
I know.
it's the
Did you
best of both
hear? So
worlds.
I just not to get on a Marvel tangent already,
Uh-oh.
but I just heard the other day Tom Holland was like, "Hey, so we're back. We're three
Mhm.
more. We signed up
Yep.
for three more." He's
Yep.
like, "It's pretty good, but it needs a lot of rewriting."
Yep.
Talking about the script, he's saying that the script needs to be rewritten.
Yes.
Like, dude, if Tom Holland thinks the script needs to be written,
Yeah.
he didn't say that about Uncharted, so that has me a
Nope.
little worried. That has me a little worried.
Yeah.
But
I don't
I
know.
think they have to do symbiote at some point. I mean, that's the only thing they have not done in MCU.
To me, the three things they have failed to do yet that
Make a new
are
villain, make a
well,
conclusive story, make
no,
something watchable.
the thing is, like you said, the symbiote, and he doesn't have like his own Doc Ock and Green Goblin. Like
Yeah,
those are very iconic to him.
the Sinister Six. Yeah,
Well, Sinister Six, sure, but
but
like,
any of them, he hasn't had any of the
right,
Sinister Six.
right. So it's like I just think he needs a perpetual villain
Hmm.
instead of like
Well,
every movie he has like one of his villains from
he
his.
should now. I mean, it's like they've built up to the point now where it's like he's not in Tony Stark's shadow anymore.
Right, 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 right.
So like he should finally be his own dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just what I think. It's like when you read Spider-Man comics, like it's usually one of the six villains kind of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, who is he he has only fought like Avenger villains. He has not fought like
Basically just Vulture and Mysterio, right? Yeah.
oh,
And
Vulture and Mysterio, yeah.
and like technically Scorpion, but not really.
Yeah, not really. And Vulture and Mysterio were great,
Oh
and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
my,
right.
you
But
know,
and the Tinkerer, I guess, and Shocker.
yeah, the Tinkerer.
And then
Yeah.
whatever, right? Isn't what's his name? The other guy too? The Prowler. Isn't that what's his name is supposed to be?
Mm, I don't know. That's now you're pushing it. That would be cool too, honestly, to see live action Miles.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But we won't. We'll just make another season of anything that nobody wants.
Yep. I love it.
Hmm. Agatha 2,
Where have you been?
Witch's Brew. Hey, remember this side throwaway character from the WandaVision show? You're like, yeah, like,
No.
yeah. So she's got her own thing now.
Oh, okay.
You know how she was left in this town like to die? Well, it turns out she's like doing some really cool stuff.
That's cool.
She's got some cool stuff going on.
What
A
is
lot
it
of
doing
deep, a
for
lot of demon friends now. She's doing a lot of
oh
dark arts. It's really cool.
what does it do for the overall MCU?
What are you talking about?
Oh,
Well, it sets up why Superman comes to Earth
oh,
and Batman too. He's got some
he's
stuff.
coming.
He's got to fight Modifius at some point.
Yeah. And then
Batman has to fight two of the worst
he's got
Jared
to fight
Leto villains of all time,
he's got to
Joker,
fight uh
Modifius,
Power Ranger
Green Ranger man.
and Blue Lion. He's got to fight.
Purple Beetle, he's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Um,
He's gotta go.
Katniss Everdeen shows up.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
I think so does oh what the hell?
Sham-Chi, he's there.
Bounty. Yeah, we
You
don't.
got
Yeah. Lioness here,
yes,
Lion
Lioness,
or
yeah.
whatever his
Yeah.
name is. He shows up. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the Thundercat guy?
That's what I mean. Isn't his name
Yeah.
Lioness?
Lioness. Lionel.
Lionel, that's it, Lionel.
Yeah. And Shira. Shira's there.
Yeah. Perfect.
It's gonna be good.
And then Chuck Norris comes in with a backflip kick, and it's remember that old
Yes.
Godzilla stomping through the town and Shaq Fu has like, oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Shaq Fu. It's gonna be good. You have to tune in. God.
That'll be after we do all the other franchises.
I didn't want to edit a lot in this video, but
Wow.
I think we only
We
talked about Mission Impossible for 20 minutes.
we were super excited, talked about all the cool stuff, and then had nothing to talk about.
Yeah. Woo, remember when that helicopter crashed? That was cool. That
That
was
was cool.
cool.
That was cool.
That was pretty cool. Oh well.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about something better tomorrow. So, well, better than Marvel anyway. That's you can watch. You watch this wall dry. That would be that would be better.
And it's not freshly painted.
Oh no, it's been dry for
Right, right.
since I moved in 3 years ago. Oh God. All right. Well, we'll see you next time. Talk about Mission Impossible 2.
Yeah.